So here we are on a continuation of the bed frame project that I started probably a week or two ago, something like that. Anyway, back here in the shop, and I am plugging away. I managed the footboard done, so that's done, and I started filling in the screw holes. So we're gonna let that dry. I'm using Minwax product. Yeah, Carpenter's wood filler. All-purpose solution for unfinished wood. It's doing pretty well. We've got, I've got most of it done already. Just got to wait for it to dry, and then it gets sanded. If it needs more filling, then we'll fill it in some more, and then we can start painting. I'm going to be making a trip to Lowe's or Home Depot, one of the two. I can't remember which one has it. I think it's Home Depot. I think the Home Depot has it. I've decided I'm not going to stain it. My original idea was that I was just going to paint the outside borders, like the top and the bottom of this, and the rails, and then I was going to stain these vertical pieces right here. But I think I'm just going to paint it. I think I'm just going to paint it all, and I'm going to go get some milk paint from Home Depot, and that'll really give it a sort of antique-ish look to it, which is kind of what I'm going for. Is I want it to look like an antique, or like a refinished antique even, and then I'm going to let it distress on its own, just from use. A lot of people like to use milk paint for antique projects or restoring antique projects, and I'm just not really gonna. I'm not gonna distress it. I'm gonna let it do it on its own, and we'll just see what happens with time. I feel quite rich right now because I've got all these 2x4s cut up, and 2x4s right now are like $9 to $12 a piece. Thank you, President. What's your name? And well, really all the politicians and fellow citizenry in the political realm. You've pretty much jacked up the price. You've made this probably cost 2 or 3 more times than it needed to. Because normally a 2x4 was like $2 or $3 a piece for an 8-foot section, just for an 8-foot board, and in some cases it's well up over $12. So kudos to you. So using Minwax, the filler, you just kind of like feather it in different spots. It gets into the low points. What I like to do with these Kreg jig holes is I'll scoop out a dollop of it, and you can see where I've done it here. Is I just kind of scoop out a big dollop of the filler, and it's kind of a gel fluid base. I don't know. It's kind of jellyish or fluidish, So I just kind of scoop it out, and I throw a dollop on there, and then I let it sit for a minute or two, kind of let gravity do its thing, and then I scrape it off with the scraper. And then these little tags show up, so I kind of try to go back over them from a different direction. See that over there? So I'll just kind of work it from both sides for a while, and once it's flattened out enough, I leave it alone and let it dry. See, like there's some spots there where it gets really low, so I'll just take it and I'll put another little bit in there from another direction, and then I'll let it go. It's already starting to dry in some spots. You can see there where I was pulling from one side, so I just kind of go back over the spots and you know, as I'm finished with them. It kind of has the consistency of peanut butter. It even looks like peanut butter. So, yeah, just kind of put a dollop on there and scoop it out and put one right in there. And I'll just go down the line and I'll do a couple of them at a time. And, you know, let it get in there nice and good. And I'll go back through and I'll pull it from different directions, try to feather it in. Get a little bit more on the knife. There you go. Then in there, you see how the air escapes from in there. You just kind of mash it back in there. Yeah, so that's what the dolloping's for, is it kind of just lets it run down there on its own. So I'm going to finish this part up. I'm going to let it dry. And then we're going to talk more about milk paint when I get to actual here in a bit. So until then.